around 12 kilometers. It was really cool when we arrived to the community where we're at now. We saw these people on these boats on the water, on the land, celebrating. There was loud music, people having a really good time. And it turns out that the community had recently just built a new boat, and it looks really great. And they were just celebrating that. So it's really interesting for us also to experience the different cultures and practices along the river, in addition to also collecting our water and air samples.
You're watching GTV Breakfast. My name is Kafui Day. Question: would you swim 450 kilometers down a lake? What would make you do that? Well, the person for the answers to that question is right here with me. Activist, entrepreneur, athlete, Yvette Tetteh. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
First question: why? Why swim from Wipe to Adan? Why?
You know, the most simple answer is just that I get a lot of joy from it. I really love swimming. And it was just an opportunity for me to swim and explore more of Ghana, and then also match my personal journey with a broader research project and environmental goal by working with the Ore Foundation.
Okay, so tell me about the big picture, and then we'll narrow down to you in the water.
Yeah, happily. So the SWIM, the Virtually Living Water Expedition, is part of a larger research project from the Ore Foundation. And basically what we're looking at is the impact of secondhand clothing waste, textile waste, on land and water bodies in Ghana. So a lot of the research has been done in Accra. So I think immediately people can think about like the beaches in Accra, and we can think about like places like Kole Lagoon and Old Fadama. When you go there and you're literally seeing like piles of t-shirts and whatever. And as you can imagine, this is most likely having a negative impact on the quality of the water. So we've already started doing research in these parts of the country, and we thought, okay, it makes sense to get a broader picture of what else is happening in other parts of Ghana. And also, you know, sometimes like research could be a bit dry. Getting people involved could be a little bit boring. And so we thought, okay, well, let's take people on a journey. And I was very happy to be a part of that.
How long have you been swimming?
I've been swimming since I was 4 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, so nobody should feel bad if they can't swim that long. I've been swimming a long time.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And you're an athlete too?
Well, it's funny because, you know, it's not like I do competitions or anything, but I do.
You like sports?
I do love sport. I mean, I'm always training. I'm always running. Even before I had something to train for, I was running every week, swimming every week.
Okay.
And then suddenly it was like, oh, here's the reason.
Okay. Who decided that it was going to be the Volta Lake, and why?
So we were discussing the water research, as I mentioned, and I had already been swimming in the Volta River just for fun, because I would go there at the weekends. And we thought, you know what, the Volta Lake, the Volta River is probably the most important waterway in Ghana.
Yes.
You know, I mean, not just for Akosombo Dam and electricity, but for trade, for commerce, just also for, you know, spiritual, cultural value. It's such a significant part of our country. So we thought it makes sense. And it also gives us a good idea of what's happening across the country, because we're going all the way from north to south.
Okay. How did you prepare for this adventure?
Yes. So on the personal front, like even though I've been swimming for a long time, obviously I'd never swum this distance before. So I had to really give time to training. My life changed quite a lot because I had to train 5 or 6 times a week.
How do you train?
I swim and I swim and I swim and I swim just for hours and hours of swimming.
In a pool or in the sea? In the river?
Yes. I'll give props to Burma Camp. The people at Burma Camp know my face very well. And then on the other side, because it's more than just a swim, it's also the research. The whole crew that was on the research vessel had to learn how to effectively take water samples, how to take air samples, and also just understanding the project and the reasons why we're doing it, understanding what's happening, that clothes are coming into Ghana, and the journey that clothes make from the global north to the global south and around our country.
What was the time between your training and then when you dipped your toe? I don't know whether you dived inside or whatever. The time between rehearsal and
Yeah, right.
How long?
So I trained for 7 months, I think.
7 months.
Yeah. It's funny because I probably did way more swimming in the training than
Yeah.
in the actual expedition. The expedition, I'm like, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, the real trial was for 7 months going to the pool. And, you know, in the Volta River, Volta Lake, it's so beautiful. That's so much of why I wanted to do this and why we have so much incredible footage, because I wanted people, Ghanaians as well, to see what we have, to see the resources and to care about the environment, to care about the issue, and also to share with people overseas how amazing Ghana can be. So, you know, on the river, it was amazing to swim. In the swimming pool, it's extremely boring.
It's boring. It's just
It's
up and down, lengths.
up and down
Yeah.
for 1 hour, for 2 hours, just
Non-stop?
Yeah, non-stop. Yeah.
Wow. Crawl, breaststroke. I mean, what strokes were you using?
Yes, I was using front crawl. You sound like an expert, actually. I'm like, well, okay. Yeah.
So it's a lot of that. All the
Yeah.
go and come, go and
Yeah,
come, go
yeah,
and come.
yeah, exactly.
You remember the first day you actually started? You started from Puipe, right?
We started from Prepare,
Okay.
yeah.
What day was that?
It's all a blur in my
April?
mind. We started actually in March.
In March, okay.
We started in March. And the beginning of the expedition was so interesting because we built this custom-built, fully solar-powered research vessel for this expedition and for future expeditions as well. Because obviously there's this environmental goal, so we want to make sure we're not being a part of the problem. So we have a solar-powered research vessel, but then we have to get it all the way up to the north of the country, and then we have to get it into the water.
How do you do that?
We took it by road.
Okay.
It's a huge thing, and it's the only way.
Was it taken as a whole, or it was taken in pieces, and then when you went
We
there,
took the whole thing. We took the whole thing.
we missed that?
Yeah.
That would have been something to see on the road.
I think we have footage. Oh, well, the people on the road were probably like, what is
is
this?
going on
What
here?"
is going on? Yeah, I've had a lot of strange looks over the last year.
I can imagine.
Yeah. And it was just really interesting to see people in Buipe, at Buipe Port, to see their response to the boat and to us. And actually, from the whole journey, it's been really interesting to meet people along the Volta River and Volta Lake, talk to them about the clothing, talk to them about what the issues are that they're facing. There are also issues about water level rise, you know, and really think about climate change and the impact that it's having on communities.
So now to the swim itself. So on the first day, what did you start in the morning, in the night, afternoon? I mean,
the first day, I think we started in the afternoon. And the first day, I remember I swam 8 kilometers. And that was
how did you know it was 8 kilometers?
Oh, we have a tracker on board.
Okay.
Yeah. It's important that we know. So yeah, the first time I swam 8 kilometers, and that was the first time that I'd ever swum 8 kilometers before. Because in the pool, the most I'd done was 5 or 6 kilometers. And so I felt so excited.
How long did that take, 8 kilometers?
It took me 2 hours. Yeah.
Wow.
But it's interesting because 2 hours can mean many different things on different parts of the river and the lake, because there's different conditions. Some parts of the river have a very strong current. Some parts it's basically flat. There were some days where if the boat was still, if I was still, we were pushed back up north.
Current.
Yes. Well, by the wind on the water. And so, yeah, different adventure every day.
2 hours non-stop?
I mean, I don't get out of the water, but I'll stop for about a minute every 20 minutes to drink. So actually, to drink water, and then also I have a dried fruit company, Ivaya Farm.
Yes.
So I would eat the dried banana.
Okay.
Because dried banana is really excellent for athletes. It's got like potassium and minerals that you need. So it's really important to break down these big tasks into smaller, achiever ones, which is the whole mission and vision of this expedition, is to say, you know, there's so many things that look impossible, but if you have the right team and you have the right approach where you take your time,
you can do it.
You can do it.
Yeah. So you swim for 2 hours and then you get out of the water. Where do you go and sleep? I mean, if it's night, what happens?
We sleep on the boat.
On the boat.
Everything happens on the boat. Okay. The cooking, the sleeping, the research, the living, the talking, the being tired. It all happens on the boat.
How many people were on the boat?
We were 4, a crew of 4. We switched out one of the team members at one point. But yeah, for most of the time it was myself, a gentleman called Ofoya Magavi, fantastic photographer who was there to document and help us be on the journey, and by us I mean other Ghanaians be on the journey. The captain, JJ, from Brave Hearts Expeditions. I know in the previous segment we were talking about tourism in Ghana, and the Brave Hearts team are doing an incredible job of helping people explore Ghana. And then we had Edwin from the Orr Foundation as well.
What's the water like?
It's different in different parts. So there's some parts, I started in the Black Volta. So in the Black Volta, the water is a bit darker, and it's interesting because it'll be like really cold and then really hot. And then,
you can feel it like actually like
yes,
that?
you can. I think it's the sun and the way the clouds are. And then there's certain parts of the Volta Lake where the water is actually really clear and really emerald and really beautiful. And it was really lovely to swim in those parts because, you know, when we look at like development, urban development, and we look at the problems of like waste, textile waste, plastic waste, it's easy to feel disappointed and overwhelmed. But then when I was swimming and I was seeing that the water is still looking good. I mean, we'll see.
It wasn't like this?
No, thankfully. And I think for us, that's part of why we're doing this, to say, first of all, let's get an accurate scientific understanding of what's happening. And then if the quality of the water is good, that's great. We should actually work and keep it that way.
People are not mining on the stretch from Bupe all the way down to Adan?
Not that I saw. Not that I saw. What we saw was the fishing, a lot of trade, a lot of moving up and down.
You saw the people
travel.
fishing, like the children fishing?
No, I didn't see that. We saw people. I mean, it's also hard to know. I mean, personally, my head is in the water.
Yeah. You're not looking at fishermen and
I'm not looking
fisher
at.
boys.
They're in fact
They're
looking
at
at
you.
me. Exactly,
So
exactly. Like, who is this?
What kind of fish is this?
Yeah.
Did they think you were Mami Water or something?
You know, it was just interesting because I went into the expedition laser focused on, okay, every day I need to swim, make it from A to Z. And I didn't pay that much attention to the gender aspects. And people would say to me, oh, it's so good that you're a woman. And I was like, okay. But actually, it really was good that I was a woman, because I think people have this idea that it just would be so impossible for a woman, for anyone, but especially a woman. So it was nice to show people that, you know, women are people too, and it is possible. And, you know, my hope is to inspire more women, if they want to swim, to go out there and get involved in the environment and causes as well.
Is it true that black people don't like to swim or are afraid of the water? Is it true?
I mean, I guess not. I mean, well, one thing that was really interesting and happy for me was that even in my training at Burma camp, I would see many people in the pool. In fact, sometimes it was frustrating because I wanted to go there and just, I want my space. And I'd be like, wow, look at all these young people swimming. And but it was encouraging. It was really encouraging. And again, like the point of this expedition, in addition to the research, in addition to creating awareness, is also to just encourage people to be in nature and to enjoy what we have, so that they care, you know. When we're talking about the textile issues and like the root issue that we're trying to address with this research, you know, a lot of that's to do with the global north. We're trying to push for something called extended producer responsibility, which would basically create a tax for producers to help look after their clothing at the end of its life. And that money, those resources would go to like Kantamanto community, who are already doing a lot of work to upcycle and recycle and then sell as part of trade the clothing. So that's our message to the global north, right? But in Ghana here, the message is more, let's think consciously about what we're doing. Let's think consciously about our relationship to buying things. Let's think consciously about our relationship to the environment. What do we want the country to look like in 5 years, in 10 years? And how do we want people to see and understand Ghana? Not just as a place where the global north dumps electronics, clothing, whatever. We have our own lives and we want to have our own story. So let's be involved in that.
What surprised you most about this epic journey?
What surprised me most? I guess I was surprised by how few people are familiar with the Volta River and the Volta region. I mean, you know, this is, you know, even when we think about the year of return and we think about, you know, tourist spots, people, especially people from overseas, they just often come to Accra and then they go to the castles. They go to Cape Coast, you know. And there's so much more to explore. And I was surprised how many people don't explore. Even people, okay, maybe they go to Akosombo or maybe they go to Adan, but there's just so much more. And I really want to decenter the typical urban spaces and encourage people and encourage the government to help people explore the rest of the country.
It's almost like a tourism thing too. Apart from the research and all the big issues.
Absolutely. And I think it would be great to see more resources go towards protecting the environment, whether it's the forest, whether it's the rivers. Just making sure that we have those resources there, the natural resources here for people who live here.
Did you find any crocodiles in the water?
This is people's favorite question. I can't even tell you. People have asked me this question so many times. And I'm sorry to say to everyone that I didn't even see a fish.
Not even a fish?
No, and apart from the...
I think they heard you and they just went.
Exactly. The only fish I saw were the ones that the fishermen very kindly gifted to us.
Okay.
Yeah, but other than that, no, nothing.
No creatures?
No, I was really hoping the last 2 days to see a manatee.
Or river snakes or something, I don't know.
No, really, nothing. I was starting to think maybe I should make something up. People are so desperate.
Yeah, people are curious,
you know,
in the water.
I mean, like, I saw 3 crocodiles and a hippopotamus. Yeah.
And a giraffe.
And a giraffe, you know. Like, no.
Okay, so tell us, what's next after this, Yvette? I mean, which other river do you want to conquer now?
Yeah.
You've done Volta now.
Well, our big goal as an organization, that is to say the OR Foundation, is to clean up the Accra water bodies and rehabilitate them. So the dream is to be able to swim Kole Lagoon in 5 years. I know your face.
Not now, please.
In 5 years. In fact, we need a little bit of time. Even
Kole Lagoon, please.
Myself, I'm like, not yet.
Not yet.
But hopefully, if we can all come together
and
around
cleaning it up.
Yeah. Effectively, because I think there have been policies in the past, and we see the problem is still there.
Weren't you worried about pollution in the Volta Lake?
I think I probably should have been more worried about things, but I just have the kind of personality where I'm very curious, so I'm willing to just try things and see.
How have you changed after this journey?
How have I changed? Well, it's such an energy demanding experience.
Your arms still hurt?
Yes, actually.
You still hurt?
Yeah, it's hard for me to move my arms in certain directions, truly. It's going to take a while to recover, but because it's so energy demanding, I've become very good at saying no to things. And I think, again, talking about the gender, I think often women are expected to just say yes to everything and just be complacent and help. And now, because I just have limited energy, I say, I'll do this and I won't do this. And it's been a wonderful lesson, actually.
Was it a spiritual journey for you too as well?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, the Volta River is so rich in cultural significance and spiritual significance. I'm not from the Volta region, so I didn't grow up with...
Although your last name could be a Volta region name.
Oh, really?
Yes, Tetteh is also Volta.
Oh, okay, I didn't know.
Where are you
I'm
from?
learning everything. Well, I'm from my mom's side, and they're from Kumasi.
Okay.
Yeah, they're from Bakwai. She said I have to say
you
specifically.
Have to say Bakwai. Shout out to Bakwai.
So shout out to Bakwai. Yeah. So I've only been there to the Volta region as a visitor.
Okay.
And so it's been really interesting and amazing to develop my own relationship and experience the spiritual energy for myself. And I think for many people, there's fear around the river for whatever reason, and it can be dangerous. But I think my experience has shown me, at least, that you can have an intentional and really rich relationship with the river.
Was there any time in the trip that you were scared, genuinely worried and scared?
There was only one time, and we were on the Volta Lake, and it was very windy, and the water was super rough. And I always get annoyed because you can't tell from video footage how rough the water is, but really the waves are huge. But I said, you know what, I've made a commitment. I'm here to do a particular job. So I said, okay, I'm going to try. I'm going to get in the water and I'm going to swim today. And I got in the water, and the waves immediately pushed me back like 10 meters from the boat. And I had this panic moment where I was like, I don't even know if I can make it to the boat. I'm going to be in the middle of the river. And then I just said to myself, okay, I have to just calm down. I'll be fine. And I said, okay, let me just try. And it was such a perfect learning moment because it was like, wow, if you take your time, you calm down, and you try, you'll be fine. So that was about 15 seconds. And then that was it. The rest of the time was completely fine. Yeah.
Everything will be fine, and we wish you the very best.
Thank
in your
you very
journey.
much.
Yeah,
Yes,
keep doing your
yes.
stuff. As far as we know, the only person to have done this. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. If you know somebody else, let us know and verify with video.
Yeah,
Because she has video. Okay.
Yeah.
Yvette Tetteh,
Yeah.
who swam from Buipe to Adan on the Volta Lake, Volta River, and for a good cause, shining attention to issues of environment and also some tourism also there for you. So go visit the place and say, hey, I was on the river body that she swam across from top to bottom. Thank you. Any shout outs to anybody before we go?
Shout out to my company. I'm back now. I'm back to work. So please, if you can, go and check out Ivaya Farm on Instagram, Twitter, and purchase our dried fruit. It's a Ghana company. We're a young team, and we're really trying our best to make a difference.
Ivaya is spelled E?
Y-V-A-Y-A Farm.
Y-V-A-Y-A. Ivaya. All right, farm. Thank you so much.
Very much.
Real pleasure.
Sure.
And that's our show today on GTV Breakfast. If you don't know how to swim, go and learn. Yeah, it's not just about walking on land, all right? You can swim as well. It's a good skill to have. My name is Kafri Dave. Thanks from the entire team, the crew. God willing, we're here for Throwback Thursday tomorrow, the 25th, which is Africa Union Day. It's not a holiday in Ghana, but we'll mark it in our hearts, all right? Yeah, you stick around. Hashtag GTV Breakfast. Good morning.